We can create the coolest software application or program, but if it doesn't work properly, it's not going to be of any use to its users. To make sure software works properly, we need to test it carefully. There are lots of different types of testing. These can include unit testing, integration testing, security testing, acceptance testing, even games testing. Being a software tester is an important and varied job. Software testing is the process of executing a program or application while knowing the expected result with the intent of finding potential software bugs. We don't want to leave any bugs in the code by the time it reaches the end user. It's the equivalent of proofreading and checking a written paper, but instead of a written paper, we're checking the computer code. We all make mistakes, so it's important to test software early and often because correcting bugs becomes more difficult and time-consuming later in the design process. So how do we perform software testing? You can perform software testing simply by running a piece of code from start to finish with the expected result in mind. If something does not work as expected when you're running a piece of code, then you've found a bug. After you think you've fixed the bug, then you should retest the code to see if it now works as expected. If it does not work, then you need to repeat this process of modifying and testing the code until you get the expected results. So I know that software testing and debugging might sound like the same action, but an easy way to remember the difference is that testing is finding the bugs and debugging is fixing them. So now let's focus on one of the types of software testing, unit testing. In unit testing, we test one small piece or unit of code that does one single thing, and we make sure that it does that one thing correctly. For example, imagine you're setting the pick and mix stand at the supermarket. Each lolly has a different price per gram. Jaffas cost $5 for 100 grams. Chocolate fish costs $4.50 for 100 grams, and jet planes cost $4 for 100 grams. Before your customers start to use the scale, you want to test if it is working correctly by gathering data. You decide to fill up 3 bags of lollies and record their weight and expected prices. If the code produces the correct price for the weight of each lolly, then it passes the test. If the code produces the incorrect prices for the weight of the lollies, then it fails. Let's take a look at our test data. As you can see, something's wrong with the jet planes because it has the incorrect price. This means that the code that calculates the price of jet planes needs to be debugged. In theory, we would debug this code and make edits so it would produce the proper output of 100 grams of jet plane, yielding a price of $4. So now you should have an understanding of unit testing. Now we'll explore ideas around testing digital content, receiving feedback, and iterating. Imagine you're working at an online shopping startup company. You launched your website 3 months ago, and now you want to make some updates to it. You want to find out which items are the most popular and how to improve the user experience of your website. Now, take a minute to review the ratings and feedback on the following 5 items on your website. First, which items would you recommend to continue selling? We would recommend continuing to sell kitchen specialist chairs, Super Fun Deluxe trampoline, and the Super Deluxe playground. As you can see, all of these activities have positive ratings and reviews. Next, which items would you not recommend selling? Here's a list of the items that we would not recommend selling: Bike 3000X and Master Grill Master. As you can see, all of these items have negative ratings or reviews. Now, imagine your target audience is specifically aged 5 to 15. Which items would you keep on your website? We would recommend selling the Bike 3000X, Super Deluxe Playground, and the Super Fun Deluxe Trampoline. Products are targeted towards a younger audience. Children are not as keen on buying a grill or kitchen chairs. Lastly, based on feedback about the products, what information or features would you add to your website to make it more user-friendly? We would recommend adding the following features after reading the customer reviews: sizes, colors, new or used, shipping price, and an option to compare similar products' features. All of these features have been requested by the users, so we want to make them in order to improve their user experience. Now we've gone through the process of testing digital content. In summary, you received feedback from your users and you made updates that were catered to their needs.